It is now. Okay.
Damn it,
So-
I just joined the channel and I see my boat upside down. What did you do?
Well, we thought we'd do this to fuck with people, more or less.
Actually,
I think we can make it a trope of the series. Just have every ship start with it being upside down.
just have every boat start in a compromised position.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know. I mean,
Maybe onto
Ooh,
something.
wait, oh, hold on. I think that's an older version. I
Really,
may or may
that's the one you provided in the channel.
hold on.
Yeah,
hold
because
on,
we
wait,
cannot change the
wait.
files
Hold on.
with the stuff we
Ducks,
send in.
Torpedoes, let me send it your way. Sorry, hold on. Wait. Destructibles. Destroyers.
I hope in your new version you've preserved this unique ability to float on nothing but the exhaust of its engines.
That's mighty impressive, actually.
Yeah.
Alright, hold on. I'm gonna just put in text chat for general. Forgot. Alright.
I'm
There it
totally
is.
going to leave this in my video, by the way.
I probably will too, yeah.
Okay, it's there.
Just give us a second.
There's been quite a few changes.
Well, I look forward to seeing those. Let me just get this thing. There we go.
Okay, do we just want to restart the designer to delete this thing, or what?
I don't know.
I mean, you could just have it off of the side, like upside down, casually.
I've done one better if Dama cares to show you.
While you're working on that, I'm going to bring in the updated version.
No, I already repositioned his boat while you're getting the updated one, so that's fine.
Here we go. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and grab it with this guy. And it looks like it's in its proper elevation. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. That's the updated
That's
one.
just fine. There we go.
Right.
Okay.
I think the moment has passed, though, unfortunately.
Maybe a bit. Yeah, I'll go ahead and flip it right side up.
Do we actually care if the other one is here or not?
I don't care, honestly.
I'll just go ahead and get rid of the other one then.
Receiving.
Okay. So this is kind of a rare treat for you folks. We actually have the original builder here with us while we review the craft.
Hello.
This is the HMS William Wallace, built by lecogular, who just said hello in voice chat there.
He's also one that asked what the hell we did, as well.
Yeah, we
So I
thought
think-
it'd be funny to start the recording with the ship upside down. So yeah.
It was actually a complete accident on my part. I just messed up on the tractor beam settings and thought, you know what, let's roll with it.
Sure, why not? So, I know we probably already kind of have an idea what this thing's about, but I think we should let Locogula kind of give us a description of what we're looking at here. So, take it away,
Okay.
Locogula.
Well, the best way to describe it is it's basically a missile destroyer that also has a shit ton of CWIS and LAMS systems, and is basically a giant fuck you to crams and missiles.
Okay. I see you have, I'm assuming this is a Sea-Wiz here? Yeah, with that
Yep.
kind of fire rate, it's probably a Sea-Wiz.
Uses kinetic shells because I have not had good luck with HE.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of those. What kind of missiles are these? Are those just
Those
decoys?
are cluster. Those are cluster decoys.
Oh, clever. And these here up front, are these just...
Those
Okay,
are
they're-
standard VLS missiles to deal with airships and surface targets.
Okay.
They're the actual main weaponry. The cannon up front is just kind of for smaller unarmored targets that you don't want to waste a missile on.
Okay. What kind of shell are we spitting out of this thing?
I believe it uses Hesh, if I remember correctly.
Heshes a pretty decent all-rounder. Yeah, it looks like it might be hash on these.
Yep, squash heads.
Now this is something I don't see very often. Using the see-through clips.
Well, I have the processing power to actually use see-through clips, so I figured why not.
Okay.
And also, it's just kind of a force of habit at this point.
A lot of people, just for reference of people who are watching, they don't go with that kind of approach because having the shells in there can eat up a lot of processing power. So yeah.
I noticed the textures are a little bit odd on this thing.
Yeah. Let's get rid of the structural blocks and have a closer look at this turret here. It looks like you went with a... What the hell is this? Meant to be like a 7x7 or 5x5 or what kind of...
I don't know. I just kind of built it and then made sure it could turn 360 degrees and then just left it. Because
Okay.
the original turret housing was built for a 3x3, I think. And I needed something bigger, so I just used the turret on turret cheese strategy to avoid having it clip through stuff. Or
That's
avoid
something you
having
don't
it
see a whole hell of a lot.
Oh, I see. So that's why it turns. I was wondering. But if it's a turret on turret, then of course, yeah, clipping won't stop it.
Yeah. The actual CWIS doesn't use that, though.
Okay.
Because it doesn't need to, because it's a 3x3.
I really need
I
to
mean,
get
normally
you those,
people don't do that a lot, but yeah.
I really need to get you those jackhammers, don't I, Dama?
It would be nice, yeah. I mean, no rush on that, just whenever you can.
I mean, lecogular just said he's had very little luck with explosives. The question has to be, what kind of missiles were you shooting at? 'Cause-
Usually medium or small missiles.
So that's the kind of thing my jackhammer's built to deal with. And that's an explosive-based one.
Well, what's its caliber?
Like 28mm.
Some go up to like 30, I think,
Interesting.
but only like maybe 2 or 3. I can't remember off the top of my head.
My C was 36 mil and uses solid AP.
Yeah, well, the only drawback with the 28mm is that it has a very limited firing range, like a bit over a kilometre.
Which is also another reason to use
No,
kinetic, is because they have a lot longer reach.
not really. I mean, Heismeister prefers the 40mm version, which has a range of like 2.5 kilometers, and the same fire rate, same kind of fire rate, same kind of damage. Because then it becomes like it can deal with like enemy ships and hull and exposed subsystems and things as well.
Yeah, which
Considering the tour is like,
is always a nice function to have on your CWIS gun.
yeah, but it's like raw explosive damage of 4,000 per second or something.
Oh, that is a lot of missile interceptors here. Holy
Yeah, I noticed those. I mean, I recognise it's based on my design, roughly, but yeah,
Actually, the inspiration for those were the firework, the Saturn missile battery.
Ah,
You know, those
okay.
giant boxes of like bottle rockets.
Hey, if it works, it works.
I mean, it sort of works. It works on anything that's like mostly directly over you. It can't turn very well. Still need to fix the thruster delay on that.
Wait, are we looking at the same things? Oh, yeah, you mean all those ones in the sides? I meant the turret ones.
Oh, the turreted ones. Yeah, those work fine. Those I've been using on all sorts of my ships because they've worked so well.
These.
I do have a few concerns here, but I didn't want to interrupt anyone.
Yeah, go on.
It looks like Cogular's got a lot of these deck-mounted weapons just sitting directly on top of weapon controllers. I'm concerned that they just get blown up by like an HE round or EMP even, and yeah,
That is
just
a
pop
concern.
those right off of there.
Well, the general thing about this is it's supposed to sit in the back with heavier units and basically provide fire support. It's not a solo unit. I mean, it can be, but it's the one thing it can solo against very well are ships of similar size that rely on cram or missiles or airships. It just eats airships alive.
Okay.
I mean, as long as the airship doesn't have like a ludicrous amount of shields. But yeah, this is very much a fire support craft.
So you're not expecting it to see a lot of frontline action, is what you're telling us.
Well, it is a frontline craft, as in it actually fights in frontline battles, but it isn't supposed to be tanking shots.
That's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the deck-mounted weaponry, I guess it can also be said to depend on like how much you value the attached weapon system. In this case, it's like all small turrets, really, so it's like maybe not that significant, because it does mean the armor below them is a bit more solid as a trade-off.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. Though that said, I haven't spotted something which I'm slightly puzzled about.
Oh, what's that?
Why is your anti-missile laser system slightly lopsided? It's like you're missing a beam or something.
On which side?
If Dama can look at it in the purely systems view.
Yeah, that's what I got to set to right now.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
the upper
see.
level. Yeah, yeah, it's missing one side of the pumps. It looks like.
I think that would simply be a case of I didn't realize I had mirror mode off, and I placed it, and I thought mirror mode was on.
We've all done that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the space is hollowed out on the other side. So the room is there for it to go into, it's not there.
Were these intentionally supposed to be like just only 3 Q switches up here?
I think that's more of a case of I ran out of space.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like the 1 meter outer hull right there. So.
And it looks like you got your lames here just straight up using the laser connectors.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's cheaper to do that since they're a bit closer.
It is cheaper to do that, but it also makes it a bit more vulnerable for explosions to get down into the ship, because you have one good solid hit and it'll just vaporize all those, and then you got explosions going into your hull through the hole. Just a concern.
Again, pros and cons, isn't it? And that's though. Actually, for the price of this thing, I would suggest you take Dama's up on that. I mean, it's like 330,000 resources almost, so you might as well tear out the laser connectors and put in some transceivers so you get a little bit of extra armor plating in the right spot.
Okay.
Same for the back one as well, because again, they're connected by posts, which could be replaced by a bit of transceiver and armor.
Damadoc was just looking at that.
But yeah, usually the way I do it, again, this is just how I do things, is I would like separate the transceivers a bit more and use those so you have more places where you can reinforce with armor.
Speaking of,
If that makes sense.
You could actually just drop the transceivers down by 1 block. It looks like you've got free space directly beneath them. The ones that go along the length of the ship.
There's an idea.
Yeah, it's just empty space right below those columns of connectors, so you can just drop it straight down 1 block immediately with no need to take any armor out.
How much are transceivers nowadays? Oh, there's still 100 materials? Okay, and the connectors are still 10. Okay. So, something that a lot of... that I don't think I've ever touched on is if you have like a space that's going like less than 10 meters, it's probably cheaper to go with the laser connectors, although there is a degree of vulnerability because it's parts to get shot up. But if you have a span that's longer than 10 meters, go ahead and go with the transceivers, because it will help you save a few materials that way. Am I making sense in how I said that?
Yep, and that's actually the philosophy I was going with when I was placing down the connectors for the...
I had a feeling, yeah.
And Super Miner is here. Hello.
Hey, Super Miner, how's it going?
Good. What are you doing?
Alright, just a reminder, I'm probably going to be doing your exhibition match with Matey's Kyushu Thursday?
Kyushu.
Yes.
Oh, Thursday, alright.
Anyway, so back to the topic at hand. Do you have anything that you'd like to point out there, Ion?
I'm curious if you can tell me how well the large missile setup works at the back, because I notice you've got a whole bunch of stuff packed into here. Like there's missile interceptors and the decoys and things. So it's like those large gantries have a lot
Is
of
that
sub-munitions
cluster
packed in.
missiles?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some cluster missiles here.
Basically,
it's
he kicks out like a basically a metal tin can, which suddenly erupts in missiles and decoys a few seconds later.
Yep.
So now, how well does that actually work for you? Because I'm kind of curious about that.
The decoy part actually works quite well. The actual interceptor part, less so, because, again, thruster delay versus I need to find the perfect balance between missile has enough time to actually turn onto target, and then missile has enough speed to actually catch its target.
One thing I will say, you don't actually need the one turn on those interceptor missiles.
Really?
yeah, I
Yeah,
just learned this myself. So
The missile interceptor head is a 360 detector.
Oh. Good to know.
Yeah, so if you have one turn, it is giving you some free internal space, but you can swap it out for a different module.
It looks like he's got explosive warheads on these. I'm guessing just to get a little more oomph out of those missile interceptors.
Yep.
Not a bad idea. I've experimented with it a bit. It's okay.
Yeah, it's, I mean, a little bit of extra blast damage. Admittedly, it's not much, but hey, every little helps.
So where is your main power coming from exactly?
There is a fuel engine in the middle.
I saw that.
Fuel engine.
I was just... Since he's running a LAM system, I thought there would have been a few more fuel engine, but
Well, he's got
not.
7,000 horsepower. I think it's just that one engine, actually.
Yep.
actually he's got two.
Does it? Where's the other one?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I do.
yeah, he's got kind of like some kind of hybrid thing going on where part of it's injector engine and the other part is like carburetor.
No, that's one engine.
No, there's two separate engine.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, trace back the exhaust air.
Oh, I'm guessing that's the backup engine, which actually runs out of combat.
The backup engine is actually there and runs alongside the entire time, and is basically only there because of the compartment wall, which separates the two engines. So if
No.
one compartment gets breached and that engine is damaged, the other engine can still run.
No, I mean like it's a very efficient one. So do you shut off the other engine completely when you're out of combat to save on fuel?
No.
I've done that with some of my designs. I kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Although that is something I should do, now that you mention it.
Well, to be fair,
These code use- I'm
Go.
sorry, go ahead, Anna. I didn't mean to cut you off there. Go ahead.
No, we both started to say something at the same time.
Yeah.
I was going to say that to be fair, your power demands are lower outside of battle anyway, because you won't be charging your laser and anything else this boat tries to do. But it can still be made slightly lower if you have something that will shut off the fuel injector engine, since you've got this other perfectly functional supercharged carburetor engine, which should be able to run most of the stuff, it looks like.
It looks like they could use just a little bit of tweaking to get the efficiency up a little higher, but using so little power for this thing, it might not be a huge deal for you. I'm just looking at this one, it's like 277 power per material for this little bitty one with I want to say that's towards the back there. And this one towards the front, you're getting like 345.9, but that's just a personal preference for me. Take that information, do with it what you will. I usually try to shoot for about maybe 500-600-ish power per material. Again, just preference.
Yeah. I should
And
also
if it works
mention
for you, it works for you.
I am not that good when it comes to building fuel engines. I usually rely on steam since I build much bigger craft usually.
You know, we
And-
do have a engine platform for the whole guild, right?
That wasn't around when I built this thing.
Okay.
This thing's
Just
little.
just didn't know if you knew it was there or not.
I am very well it exists. It just did not exist during the time of this boat's construction because this boat is actually a bit old.
Okay.
Or at least the hull and most of the internal systems are. This thing has seen like 3 or 4 refits by now. Because I'm too lazy to build more hulls.
And we're going about, what, 20 meters a second their top speed?
To be fair, it's just kind of choppy out here, but I was
It's a
just
wee bit choppy,
I was
yes.
looking at the engine system. Sorry, not the engine system. The uh-oh,
Propulsion?
no
It
crash.
may or may not have ran into the thing.
This is
Would
very
it help
stormy.
if I pulled the platform out of play?
Yeah, go ahead. This is a very stormy area you've set us up in, Dama.
Was not intentional, but yeah. I don't think I can pull that out of play with just outright deleting it.
Well, go ahead now. I
There's
delete
not.
it. We don't need it anymore.
Okay.
I was looking at you've got a good amount of stability from your Daddy Blades, not Daddy Blades, your propellers underneath the ship. Good amount. I noticed everything's like covered up with ducting and things as well. So
Mimic ductings, but yeah.
Mhm.
Just makes it look
I
nice.
thought that's what that was.
however, that said, you are using a lot of turning force on your propellers since they're running at flat out maximum power. Excuse me. Yeah, max power for your turning. Your stabilizers are running at 1 times, so they're just running normal. So I think the bulk of your power use right now is your turning propellers and your steam props at the back. So actually, if you're going to try and go with like using the more efficient engine out of combat, how about some more ACB work?
Yeah.
I was thinking like have a backup propeller at the back there, which is just a normal one, and ACBs to turn off the steam propellers outside of combat. That will save you a bunch of engine power.
Yeah, that could work.
And the turning propellers, you could add a couple of, well, even just one rudder. Or
Yeah,
2
I
rudders.
was about to suggest that myself, actually. You put a rudder on there, that'll save you some engine power, give you a bit tighter turning.
Yeah, or if you don't want your ship trying to roll while you do that, what you can do is actually mount a flipped rudder at the front as well, so that the turning force is equalised across the craft.
Uh-huh.
That's a thought. I've tried using front rudders before, however, they've been a bit.
You need to flip them
unreliable.
around to get the force going in the right direction. But once you do, that will correct the ship trying to roll over when it turns, which is often the problem people have with rudders.
Mm-hmm.
And then
yeah. I remember you showed me that trick where you like flip the rudder like on its side, and yeah, that was working very, very good for roll control for a couple of my ships I've built.
You mean that my trick of like just flat out using rudders for the entire stabilization system?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good trick.
I mean, it takes a little finesse and monkey around with it to make it work right, but yeah, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, it can be very useful. It's just the headache of setting it up first, usually.
Also, just an FYI, and I think you know this, but you can actually control the wave parameters in the options. So if
Really?
you don't want it
Okay.
big and stormy, you can go to the options and go to the designer and environment. It's an environment tab. Wave factor. And give it a bit. And it should smooth out.
Just as the ship gets some air.
Maybe it's not implemented for multiplayer?
Oh, it might not be. Because you have constant weather and constant time as well, and those are changing.
another quick question. Is this decorative, or does the ship actually deliberately try to ram stuff with this?
I was looking at that myself.
This
I'm
ramming
wondering
probe.
if he did it for the drag reduction.
It's partially as a last resort weapon, and partially because I couldn't think of anything else to put there, aside from just blocks.
Okay,
You should have put a simple drill assembly there.
that'd have been
It-
fun.
I couldn't fit it in with the
You
with
could
the
have.
propellers the way that they
Well,
are.
not with that attitude.
No, you only need one block between them. You've got a block of metal going between those two propellers, so you could fit a drill back there.
I mean, on the airship version of this thing, I fit an entire pack assembly into the front of the craft. That was fun.
Nice. And I'm assuming these plates here just to try to stop Hesh and Heat from destroying the front turret.
Yep, the front turret, before those were added, was very susceptible to being blown up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only got 1 meter of armor around it.
It's actually got two. It's got a layer of metal and then heavy armor.
No, the front turret only has 1 meter of armor.
Yeah, the left and right
Oh.
sides that has like
That-
maybe heavy armor
Oh.
below the waterline and
I believe you're thinking of back
metal
when it was a
armor above.
smaller turret.
Yeah.
When it was like a 3x3 or something.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you've weakened the armor around there. This thing does not like big waves.
No, it does not.
Not really.
It's really
I should try to
struggling.
find some more a bit nicer.
Nah, we're just punishing the design.
Okay.
We started with it upside down. Now we're trying to drown it.
So I'm looking at these missile turrets. They almost look similar to the system that you developed, Ion.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
been
those.
expanded upon just a bit.
Yeah, that's the ones I was talking about when we were talking about the missile interceptors earlier. He's got a lot of
hold
missile
on.
defense on board.
That turret on the rear for the missile system seems to have incorrect firing parameters.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
firing
can only
restrictions
shoot
are
the-
messed up.
yeah, I see what you mean now.
Oops. That. I must have copied
That's an
over
easy
the firing.
fix.
Yeah, I must have copied over the firing restrictions from one of the left side turrets.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that's an easy fix, though. I mean,
Yep.
2 minutes at least.
If that.
So can this thing
That's
float
like
on
10
its own,
seconds.
or does it rely
Oh,
on the?
not really. This
okay.
thing is so heavy and so, compact that there's basically no buoyancy.
Mm-hmm.
So. I mean, I've even joked and theorized about turning this thing into, a hybrid submarine.
There you go.
Oh, we're taking too much damage. Time to descend to the depth and let the repair bots do work for a bit.
Is it actually trying to sort out its altitude, or is it purely pitch focused?
It actually uses the props underneath for altitude control to keep a good chunk of it underwater, as to protect the vital components.
Oh, I see.
Should
They're fully committed. You're actually overloading your roll stabilization. That's one of the reasons why it can roll around a little bit sometimes.
I think that's mostly because of the heavy waves it's in right now.
Yeah, but it's still
very well
it's
be.
still a potential design flaw. You could do with some extra propellers rather than having the propellers you got for stabilization maxing out as well when it's trying to control vehicle altitude.
So this is controlled by a PID or breadboard.
PIDs.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's like if you need those propellers doing two things, it just doesn't have any extra to give. And I don't like to build craft like that. I either leave some room for extra performance if one command is fully engaged, or more often I just include extra propellers.
So it looks like a. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ian.
I was just going to say, you've got a centerline lift propeller. I'd have put in more centerline propellers to lift directly under the center of mass, instead of having those ones on the side try to do it. That's just me. So, go ahead, Dama.
I was just having a look at his simple weapons here. It looks like they're all set up with the CWIS controllers, it looks like? Yeah.
Yeah, most of them are set up for CWIS, but I think 3 of them also have the ability to shoot at, like, just normal targets.
Looks like the octuplet guns are set up that way.
Yeah, and also the rear quad 40 mil.
You might want to go into some of the settings for these weapon controllers and set a priority for them, because it looks like that hasn't been set for any of these.
Ironically, that hasn't been much of an issue.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a just in case thing though.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were to go with a similar setup, I would probably have it prioritize missiles first and aircraft second, but that's just how I would do it.
Yeah.
On this craft, I'd say probably missiles first, then aircraft second. Yeah. Considering this thing seems to be very scared of enemy missiles.
It's not very
I would say
scared
so as
of enemy
much.
missiles. It just has a giant fuck you to missiles and crabs.
It literally wants them to go the hell away.
Have you tested it against the new huge missiles by chance?
I have, actually, and the results are interesting. Sometimes, depending on the missile's flight path, it can actually shoot down the smaller huge missiles, ironically. However, there is also the good chance that the huge missile just flies straight into the thing and detonates and, well, takes half the ship with it.
Yeah, this thing's kind of geared towards small and medium missile interception.
It's missile spam. It's anti-missile spam.
It's more because you're using a lot of small interception hardware on a very compact hull. You just don't have weapons with sufficient weight to really try to do much against large missiles.
Well, that's what the Sea Whiz is for. And
No, even that is relatively lightweight. And it's also... Yeah, go ahead.
Kinetic Sea-Whiz can be pretty good against large and huge missiles, but
They can, but...
trying to hit, that's a whole different ball game there.
Yeah, Dama, this weapon mechanism is roughly equivalent to that 180 twin barrel, I think it was, that we both mucked around with a few weeks back. So, and that was very hit or miss in intercepting like incoming large missiles as well.
Yeah.
So I think just flat out, the weaponry is too light to reliably deal with large missiles.
What kind of shells are these? They just... Okay, they got the
Oh,
heavy
they do.
head and 2 solid and 5 gunpowder? Okay.
Yep.
And what millimeter do we have this thing
36.
set to?
36 now.
36 used to be so awesome back in the day.
Yeah. I don't know why there's a laser targeter. I think that's back when this thing used flak heads and HE.
Yeah, trying to airburst things.
Yeah. Didn't work out very well.
I don't know if
The caliber's too light, honestly, for flak.
I don't know if this would be something you're interested in, Cogular, but I think you might be able to up this to like maybe a 5x5 base, the rear Sea-Whiz. I think we might
Okay.
have the room to do that.
No, because there's an entire heavy armor basket around the entire Sea Whiz cannon,
There is not.
which prevents me from expanding.
Oh wait, sorry, the Sea Whiz. I thought you meant the front gun. Never mind.
Yeah, not the front gun, the Sea Whiz.
Actually, yeah, you would be able to up the thing to a 5x5. You would have to enlarge the basket though.
Yeah.
Make it
Yeah,
even
that's
more of
good
a basket case, but you know, you do have the deck space to do that. I know.
Sea Whiz is pretty big as is for the ship. As in actual size consumption, not effectiveness. It's
Not really.
You do get a pretty good rate of fire out of it as is, though, in all fairness.
I think I once got that thing up to 2,000 rounds per minute using a lower caliber.
Yeah, but I would honestly suggest try and get installing an explosive-based Sea Whiz, because again, I just feel like this is a small turret mechanism to be trying to be a kinetic Sea Whiz.
I mean, kinetic sea whizzes have worked for me in the past. I have a 3x3 one that I use on my heavy battleship that's actually really good.
Maybe I just don't have much experience with them. I just would prefer.
I don't have a lot of experience with the kinetic sea whizzes either, so yeah. I don't know if either one of us can make a very informed judgment on that.
Might be one of our areas of weakness, I guess you could say.
It could, yeah, maybe it might be something worth looking at sometime in the future. So I'm looking at the exhaust system for this. It's pretty rare that I see one that just goes directly at the top of the ship. I usually try to send mine through the bottom, so that way it's not like a gonna draw in infrared cameras or infrared missiles. But I'm assuming you did that on purpose, and that way missiles would be drawn to it.
Partially, and that was actually unintentional. I only realized that after I put it through some combat tests. But having it up there at the top means that missiles will more likely go for the superstructure and the higher portions of the ship, thus giving the anti-missile systems a better chance of actually shooting it down, as it's not like clipping through the waves and barely being detected.
Okay.
I've got a question. All these munition detectors work?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't
When
need
they're not underwater.
Duly noted.
Yeah.
I always thought they needed an AI connection.
Not
They
anymore.
did, and then they removed it. And
Oh.
I just placed them everywhere.
It's somewhat recent that they've done that, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, I missed that then. So, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of nice to go from like needing 3 cubic meters to just 1 to install those things. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Another point of concern here I have here on the back with these LAM systems, having these like triangle pieces. Wonder if that's going to be limiting the cone of fire for your lambs back here.
They can.
Which easy fix.
Receiving.
Anything else you want to touch on, Ian, while I'm looking around here?
No, I think we're about done, so it's about the stage where we let this thing shoot at something.
Do you have a preferred target for it, lecogular?
Yes, actually. Hold on. I have to remember. Which one of the boats from the Onyx Watch used a bunch of, VLS big missiles?
There's a few of them. I think you're thinking of the Palisade?
Palisade or like Trebuchet, one of the two.
I don't think it's Trebuchet, but Palisade I think uses large missiles. Or am I thinking of a different one here?
I don't know. We could just put it up against the Marauder and say it's quote-unquote good.
Let's just pop out a Palisade here, see how it does.
Okay.
Just for shits and grins.
Yeah, let's do a combat test for this submarine.
Yeah, but the Marauder is the best ship in the game.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the only ship I've tried to do a primordial version of, so, you know.
I went upgunned a Marauder to ungodly levels.
They have that whole event where they basically replace every Deepwater Guard ship with a different type of Marauder.
Yep.
Oh, we didn't even talk about his torpedoes.
Yeah, you're right, we didn't actually. Hey guys, this thing has torpedoes. More missiles. Except for the underwater missile. Also, I'm getting a little bit of lag with how many things were being launched at once there for some reason.
So far, it's taken out a pretty good chunk of the missiles.
The decoys are doing something. AMS is doing stuff. The Sea
And just a
Whiz-
reminder, it's firing large missiles, so yeah.
The Sea Whiz was mostly missing.
What's
So that was
the
always
accuracy on that sea was like anyway? Did you happen to catch that, Ion?
Not too bad. Well, the thing is, you can have excellent accuracy on a kinetic Sea Whiz, and it'll still mostly miss. So, it seems to have killed the AI.
I was wondering why it stopped shooting.
EMP torpedoes do be like that.
Yeah, so we need a new
Maybe
target.
we gotta have a quick look at his torpedoes then.
Yeah. Torpedoes,
These
he
are
has
just
this...
mediums. Yeah, it looks like mediums. HE damage about 7k, give or take.
Oh wait, no, the VLS missiles have the EMP, not the torpedoes. Whoops.
I went
Yeah,
looking
you
underwater.
have like a explosive EMP set up for those in the front, the vertically launched ones.
Yep. Very good for taking out the AI of unprotected ships,
Oh, the sea's turned
as in
red.
ships that don't have EMP protection.
And you put in signal processors, not a bad idea, because it seems like everything spams flares nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh good,
Flares and
the blood
decoys.
moon is over.
Speaking of which, I was kind of thinking of maybe getting back to that, doing a single player 7 Days to Die.
Yeah, we kind of realised we missed that. But anyway, I said blood moon because for a few moments there the ocean outside was red. So
It does that a lot on Scarlet Dawn territory. It's kind of annoying. Actually, I think it's just persistently red there.
Yep.
sure. But yeah, I went looking underneath for the torpedoes when I was trying to show them, and all I found was the torpedo decoys and interceptors. So don't know what I expected, honestly.
So he's got some target simulators that come out of the side. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, new target.
How about you pick the next one, Ian?
I'll pick one that will give us a true challenge.
I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not.
It's hard to tell
Me?
with them.
Sarcastic? Wait, are you guys trying to say something?
No, not at all. But I think if it can basically eat an entire large missile swarm from a palisade, it's probably going to do pretty good against missile-heavy units. What's the material consumption like on that?
A bit. Oh dear God.
Yes, the fear in your voice.
Time.
Except like all the missiles are going to the palisade because it's like the biggest target out there.
It's alright, the palisade won't be around long.
It's not despawning. It doesn't do that in creative.
Which is odd.
I know, right? I doubt that was intentional, but whatever.
Well,
I can't exactly move it though, or do anything with it.
Yeah, in multiplayer we just have to let the designs die naturally or restart the darn thing.
Not really. I can destroy all enemy vehicles, but then we would have this frightening force of marauders get disbanded. So
they're only
yeah.
marauders. We can respawn them. We have the
That's true.
technology.
Okay. Then I guess I'll just go ahead and destroy enemy vehicles, and we'll just spawn in some more.
Yep.
If you'd like to do the honors, Ion.
Yep, here we go.
More marauders for the marauder god.
Of course.
Marauder murder. Murder marauder.
Murderauder.
Ooh, I like it. I wasn't quite sure how to pronounce it, and then you beat me to it.
That's exceptionally close.
That was just a tad.
Unfortunately, they're accidentally pointing away from you, so...
Pirates of the Caribbean intensifies.
Yar.
And that ship is exceptionally fucked.
I just saw something that said called Treehouse in there, so you know what, I'll spawn that into.
Oh, and I don't know if you were aware of this, but he does have a torpedo interceptor launcher down here on the bottom.
Yeah, I found that one.
Looks like he went with the idea of putting some explosive warheads on it. I'm assuming just to get some more oomph against incoming torpedoes.
Yep.
Which, like I said before, I've tinkered with it, and it's actually decent. So I'm not gonna knock it. That is an awful lot of crams I just saw.
It was one round.
And the COS gun, that's meant to fire at enemies and missiles, I take it? Or okay. I'd be slightly concerned about that because that might mean more downtime for your COS. Because you'll probably have to reload more often.
It really hates the treehouse.
If it's using radar guided, I'm not surprised. Because that is probably the biggest thing out there.
I admit this is probably not a serious test, but it is actually showing me a few things about the design.
Oh,
and
like
I'm
what?
finding it kind of fun just to watch as well. This thing is kind of like burst damage, but it is actually really struggling against a bulk of enemy force like this.
Yeah, but it's not exactly intended to be, from what lecogular described, it's not exactly intended to be like a ship that's soloing against other ships. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yeah, it's a force multiplier ship. It's basically there to, like... So, for example, and actually Dares Heistmeister used this thing perfectly recently. You have a big battleship. You have big guns. It has no CWIS systems. But this thing with it, and now it has a CWIS boat.
Yeah, so it's like an escort kind of thing.
Essentially. However,
It's just-
it's tough enough that it can also go against enemy ships should it have to.
So it's essentially just very, very specialized,
Yes.
is
It
what
is
I'm
a
getting.
big middle finger to missiles and crams, and
Okay.
has enough missiles to bring down most airships and do a substantial amount of damage to most singular craft. That's not good at clusters of craft,
Cogular?
but
You should restrict that forward turret a little bit more.
is it shooting into the rear again?
Yeah, it's shooting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's blowing up. It's the ship is
Yeah,
meant to be.
shooting at the... Try to
That's
shoot through the superstructure.
hard because not only does it have a failsafe, it shouldn't be able to rotate that far in the first place.
You've done the double clip thing.
100%.
That I think that's why.
Well, the turret has firing restrictions, or it should.
I think we
Yeah.
did that.
The base one does. The second one does not.
Oh,
That's what's letting it turn all the way around like that.
critical error in judgment has occurred.
You cheesed it too hard.
Indeed, I have.
Yep. Because
I
if
think
there's
what I
if
can
it,
do is just lock the first turret and then have the second turret be... Yeah, that should be it.
yeah, if you built this
That's
turret
usually
normally, this wouldn't be a problem.
I am no normal person. I strapped as many weapon systems to a tiny boat as I could, and somehow it actually is effective. Somewhat.
It needs more guns on this though.
Throw enough DACA on something that'll kill something.
And if you want to put more guns on this, be my guest, but good luck.
Oh no, I can see some spots where I would. It also doesn't have any offensive small missiles, so that's an automatic fail for me as well, apparently.
What, not enough missile spam for you? It has 36 VLS medium missiles.
They're not small missiles. The last two
No,
reviews we
it's-
did, I've said needs more small missiles.
It looks like you're kind of going for the post-dreadnought look that you've been doing with a lot of your craft. Was that intentional, or...?
Well, the funny thing about that is, the original design of this ship was to be a cheap destroyer that could mono-a-mono against ships of similar size and be used in the early campaign stages. Then, when I realized that that concept was kind of dumb because I could get the same effect out of a couple of PT boats, cheesing with large or huge missiles, I decided to make it a CWIS boat that I could use with my heavier battleships as, well, a picket ship basically, to bring down any cramped or large missiles that could threaten the battleship.
Okay.
I do have one more
And-
thing to say about this, actually.
What's that, Ian?
I think in your actual offensive missiles, you might have been over-enthusiastic with turning thrusters. you don't actually, strictly speaking, need those with the missiles you've got.
Okay.
All they're
So
doing.
adding them. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ian.
All they're doing is like making it a tighter turn on initial launch, and burning up a bit of extra fuel, and then nothing. So you could quite easily say take that out and add a bit more warhead to it.
That's not entirely true. I like using the turning thrusters on a lot of my missiles, especially if I'm going up against like very nimble craft. The extra turning power can be very, very helpful with that.
Yeah, but these are like a mid-range cruise missile kind of thing.
Okay.
So this particular kind of missile is what I'm saying. If it comes against something more nimble, he has the cannons to fall back on, and he has the close-range simple weapon systems to fall back on. And I don't think his main missile armors are really meant for small, nimble targets. It's more...
Yeah, they're meant for the big.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is more of a cruise missile style rather than an actual agile interceptor.
Okay. You might want to put just a slight delay on these torpedo launchers, just so that they all don't get launched at once, because sometimes I notice that explosive torpedoes can blow each other off target. I usually go like with a 2-second delay.
I think he's done that just so that, just for the size of the launch mechanism, I think.
There's only got like a 0.1 second delay on them.
Oh, it's actually got one? In that case,
Yes,
yeah,
it's got one.
maybe a bit more.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, that's
that's
a
an
simple
easy
fix.
fix.
Yep.
Yeah.
This boat is... Yeah.
Yeah,
But the most important thing is that lecogular's happy with it, so...
Oh yeah, and it managed to kill the Marauders eventually. Their immense
Not
staying
good.
power was proved again because it struggled to, but it did eventually manage to break through their indomitable armor and fighting spirit.
Is there any other points that we would like to touch on here, Ion?
No, honestly, because I think we've touched on everything. I mean, it looks good. It's got a good variety in weaponry. We mentioned a few bits and pieces that we might like to change if we were doing it, or things that for Cogular to look at. I think, yeah. More guns, more small missiles. There you go. That's all it needs.
Aeon
Yeah,
does not need small
like
missiles.
Ion said, there's a few things I would have done differently myself, but again, that's mostly just preference. But yeah, I think this is a fairly capable ship, and probably go pretty far in the mid game.
It does what it sets out to do, and as the Cogular said, it pair it with like another ship, a mainline ship that can provide some more reliable offensive punch, and this will keep it safe.
Matey's
Oh, hey,
here.
matey.
Hello.
Hi, Matey.
We're just about to wrap up this review here. I think we kind of touched on everything we wanted to, so
Yeah.
is there anything that you would like to add, Lecogular, before we wrap this up?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. All right, then. I guess we'll just go ahead and wrap it up. Would you like me to do it, or would you like to do it, Ian?
Yeah, you go ahead, Dama. Honor's all
All right.
yours.
Well, this has been Dama 82 with IM Mark III, Norwegian Inquisition, and Lecogular, and a bit of a latecomer with Matey, doing the From the Depths craft reviews. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Y'all have yourselves a hell of a day, and keep your hammer high. Later.
Later.